What's going on, guys? This is Political Ideas and Thoughts, and this video is about something, that's been talked about by a few people, but by a lot of people, political people, but, I'm going to talk about it in a different way. And basically, my position and why I believe this is so. Basically, this video is about why I think that the so-called culture war, or whatever you want to call it, has been overblown by many people. And mostly it has to do with the fact that, most people don't even really know what the hell's going on. And as far as that kind of stuff is going, nobody knows, nobody cares all that much. And, a lot of the reasons why most people aren't interested in politics anymore is because it's not really changed all that much. There's no real deep discussions or educational truths about politics or politicians or anything like that. That's why nothing's changing. That's why there's so much apathy when it comes to voting. What is it, 50% of the American population doesn't even vote? And this is why. It's because, the political arena is not changing. Hasn't changed in a while. It has changed a little bit over the past couple of years, but the ideas have changed. But the overall the overall bullcrap of politics hasn't changed all that much. Basically, what this means is that, there's a bunch of things that this means. One is that people, as I pointed out in my last video on this channel, people say that, politicians will say this, we're going to stop crime, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But when they get into office, they don't do half the crap they say they're going to do. There's a couple reasons why this is, as I pointed out before in the other video. But what this has to do with the culture war and why it's been overblown is because most people aren't really that into politics, and most of that is because politicians haven't changed all that much. I made a little bit of a song back in the day. I never really published or anything, but it basically states that every 4 years is just another disappointment, because that's what it is. Every 4 years they're thinking, oh man, things are going to change around here, right? That's why I voted for Obama. That hadn't really changed all that much. Some things did, but not really. And this is why the culture war has been overblown, because most of the people aren't interested in politics, and those who aren't really that deeply enmeshed in it. This whole thing about the culture war, there are two different parties are clashing. They've always been clashing. There's no difference here. The real difference is that now the Democratic Party is split between 2 or 3 different factions now, and the Republican Party is pretty much behind Trump. That's pretty much the only difference. There's a video by a channel I believe it's called Policy Ed. The channel's called Policy Ed. And the video points out that much of this so-called political strife is only caused by 15% of the country, or some strange number like that. It's a very low number. So that's the culture war. Those are the what they call the political class or whatever you want to call it. And it's possible that it's maybe a little bit higher than that because there are people who aren't really like politicians who are involved in this, but not much higher. So the whole culture war thing is overblown, just like the whole terrorism thing has been overblown. That's another subject. Not to mention that, America is the cause of a lot of this terrorism, but that's another subject as well. Don't even get me started on that can of worms, but basically that's all that can be said about that. I mean, this whole thing has been overblown, I think, partly by well-meaning people, and also partly by people who just want to keep this thing going, for ratings and stuff like that. So, even people who I respect, say that the culture war is it's coming. This so-called civil war, the second civil war is coming. Culture war is getting worse. Yeah, I don't really think that's true. It may be getting worse in some ways, but like I said, that's only between like 15 to 20% of the population in this country. That's not a lot of people. That's not even enough to, really get that concerned about. Most people aren't going to get involved in this. So, there's a lot to go over with that one too. I think that's part of the problem too, is that there's a lot of that going around when it comes to other stuff too, like terrorism and Russia and other countries and stuff like that. People are overblowing how dangerous things are. Possibly the only real dangerous country right now that we have to deal with is China and North Korea, possibly. Those are really it, really. Any other country that, they want to say is dangerous, or any other thing that they want to say it's dangerous, like terrorism, isn't really true. Terrorism isn't really all that common here, and it never really has been. There's more like alt-right type of terrorism than there is anything. That's another subject as well. Anyways, this is political ideas and thoughts, and I'll see you on the next video.